Hello, I'm Howell Griffith, Chef Director of Beach House Restaurant in Oxwich. Today I'm going to cook brill with mussels cooked in Welsh cider and spring vegetables. So with the brill, I'll be cooking beautiful spring vegetables where we have broccoli, leek, broad beans and peas, and these have just been blanched and taken out their skin. And here we have pearl barley. We're going to cook it with thyme, rosemary and garlic, and of course we have the mussels here. These come from Swansea, just out in the bay, and they are rope grown. They're delicious, local and seasonal. They're beautiful this time of year. We're going to cook them in cider, so it's kind of the idea is kind of, it's like a mussels marinade but cooked with cider, slightly sweeter, and gives I think a much more interesting flavour to the dish. So to start off, we're going to cook the pearl barley. The pearl barley is kind of going to take about 25-30 minutes to cook. So here's the pearl barley, goes into the pan. We're just going to add water. And instead of just boiling the pearl barley in water, it'll be kind of bland. We're going to add a good amount of thyme, rosemary and garlic. And all we're going to do with the garlic is take the knife and break the garlic. And of course, a good pinch of salt. So we're just going to simmer the pearl barley now for 25 minutes, just so it kind of puffs out and becomes a little bit tender. So while the pearl barley's cooking, we're going to start the mussel sauce. So as I said before, it's kind of like mussels marinade, which is mussels cooked in white wine, and we're going to cook it in cider. So what we need to do here, we've rinsed the mussels off. Quite often there's a little beard in here. You just pick it off. But these mussels, as I said, they're rope grown, so they're really clean. They've been hand picked. They're wonderful and ready to go. So what's really important when you cook mussels is that you get your pan nice and hot. So when the mussels and the cider goes in, the cider boils straight away and generates steam, and that's what's going to cook the mussels. I'm just going to drop our mussels in. Good splash of cider. I'm just going to put a lid on. So as I said, that steam as the cider comes to the boil is going to cook the mussels, and of course we don't want to overcook them, so they're only going to take a couple of minutes. So the mussels now have been on for a couple of minutes, and as you can see, they've just started opening. When they're open, it means that they're ready and cooked. So you can see the mussel meat inside is just shrunk up a little bit. All the mussels have opened, and at this stage, if you've got any mussels that are shut, discard them. It means that they're not good to eat. The pearl barley has also been simmering now for 25 minutes, and you can see it's puffed out. And if you taste it at this point, it should be nice and tender with just a slight bite to it. We're just going to turn the heat off here and just kind of let that rest while we pick the mussels. So as I said, when they're not open at this stage, just discard them. Don't try and force them open. Just pick the mussels that are open. Retain all that delicious meat from inside. So I've finished picking the mussels now. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it for the dish at the end to do all the hard work now. And you'll notice here, this cloudy juice. And here, there's a lot of flavour, and this is what we're going to make the sauce with, so don't throw it away. So we're going to take about half the mussels that we picked, and they go back in the pan. Back to the stove for a second. I've got some wonderful double cream here. It's local cream to here. And as you can see, it's how cream used to be, as I like to say. A couple of spoons of that in there. We've just warmed the mussels back in the stock. And we're going to pour the mussels with all the stock into the food processor. I'm just going to blend it quickly. Now that the sauce is blended, I'm just going to put it through a fine sieve just to catch any pieces. So you want a nice silky smooth sauce. While that's draining through, I'm just going to take my pearl barley and drain this off. Just going to tap the sieve ever so slightly so the sauce goes through. And you'll notice at this stage I've added no salt to the mussel sauce, because obviously they come from the sea, they're naturally quite salty and they retain quite a bit of sea water inside. So we're just going to taste it quickly to make sure we're where we need to be. Beautiful. As I thought, it needs no salt at all. Just that kind of natural seasoning that's in the mussel is seasoning that sauce beautifully. All I'm going to do now is take the herbs out of the pearl barley, and of course the garlic. You don't want to eat the garlic because it's still very strong at this stage. We've used kind of all the flavour from the garlic. It's flavoured the pearl barley. So it's important to get all the stalk from the rosemary and thyme out, because if there's any leaves left, any small leaves of thyme or rosemary, I'm just going to leave them in. I'm not going to worry too much about them because they're just going to add to the overall flavour of the dish. Now the sauce is made and the pearl barley is cooked, I'm just going to leave it to one side and it's time to cook the fish. So put the pan on, small amount of oil in. We're just going to make sure that the pan is quite hot, but not too hot here. If it's too hot, you're going to scorch the fish and it's not going to cook very well, but you want it hot enough so the fish doesn't stick. So the pan's nice and hot now, but not too hot, as I said. The fish goes in and you just want a slight frying noise coming from there. So the fish is on cooking, so while it's cooking we're going to finish the sauce now. So we retain the mussels from before, it's going to go in the pan. The blanched podded peas, some beautiful broad beans here, again blanched and podded. We got some small baby leeks, and all I've done with these is cut them nice and finely. They're raw at the minute. And again here I've got some broccoli, and all I've done is cut them into very small pieces, and that again is raw. So I'm just going to use the warming of the sauce to kind of cook the leek and the broccoli. In the sauce goes with the mussels, vegetables and pearl barley. And with the sauce, you just want to bring it to the boil. You need to bring it up to the boil to cook the vegetables, but you don't want to boil it for too long because all your vegetables will go grey and they just won't be as vibrant and as delicious as they could be. So the fish is kind of halfway cooked there now. You'll notice that just around the outside of the fish it's just starting to turn a little bit white. We're just going to add 3 knobs of butter in there. And we're going to turn the fish over now. Nice little pinch of salt on this side of the fish. So as we turn the fish over, you'll notice it'll just curl up slightly. The butter's just melting. It's boiling. The butter's just boiling away. I'm going to turn the pan off and let the heat in the pan finish cooking the fish. Also, good squeeze of lemon juice just over the fish there. And while we just finish the sauce and plate up, the heat of the pan, as I said, will just finish cooking. So the sauce now is just coming up to the simmer. So it's plating up time. Of course, the most important thing of cooking is taste everything as you cook. Give it a little taste. So for me, it's seasoned well enough. There's a good bit of lemon juice in there, good bit of acidity. It's ready to go. I've just got a little blue green cloth here, and all I'm going to do is take the fish out of the butter just for a second, just because it takes the oil off the bottom, because you don't want a greasy sauce at the end. And we're just going to place it on. And here is my roasted brill with mussel cider sauce.